Then, world number one Yingsha against Japan's Hina Hayata, a familiar rivalry there. And Jae-Heun comes up against Tomokazu Harumoto, who's in action once again. And then it's mixed doubles semi-final action to round out our session. But up now, it's two fantastic women players on their way to the table.
Women's singles competition round of 16 from Japan, Hina HAYATA. And from China, soon, Yingsha.
And there is the reception that always greets Yingsha when she emerges and makes her way down the ramp towards the table. The world number one about to do battle with Hina Hayata. It's a women's singles round of 16 encounter here, and she has looked in impressive form already. A serial smash winner, a serial winner in WTT level. We're still playing best of 5, and for Hina Hayata, she has to seek whatever possibilities she can possibly come up with, because the head-to-head between these two is overwhelmingly, crushingly in favor of Yingsha. 8-0 in their WTT head-to-head encounters, and that goes back most recently in WTT action to champions Chongqing 2024. But if you look at the broader piece, it's actually a 16-0 across all encounters throughout their career that favors Yingsha. Enasala is in the chair umpiring this one.
Players, please come for the toss.
Our thoughts on that incredibly one-sided head-to-head situation in just a moment, and also build up to a matchup that promises plenty on a day that's brought so much drama already in this arena.
Okay, we'll start with the toss. I have red and blue. Who would like to do? Blue for Hayata, red for Sun. Blue, Hayata, winner of the toss. What do you choose? Service for Hayata and Sun. Decide.
Okay, here we go. You don't want to get too hung up on the numbers, Adam Bobber, who's joining me for the first time today. Great to have you with us, Adam, here. Because the thing about the Hina Hayata block, if we want to call it that, with Yingsha, is that Hina's such a great player and she's done so much in her career that it just seems odd that at some stage or other she's not been able to get past Shasha. Is that fair to say?
Well, only in so much as Hina Hayata's an incredible player who's dangerous, but with Shasha, I think if there's one player that you haven't really checked off your Pokédex, she's the one that you can't quite catch.
But otherwise, Hina's got the game, hasn't she, to take on just about anybody in world table tennis. And if you look at her last 3 Grand Smash results, a semi-finalist in Saudi Smash 2024, quarterfinals in Singapore, and at the United States Smash, it was a quarterfinal exit for Hina Hayata. And when you look back to those recent encounters, well, you have to look at the identity of those who beat her. It was actually Chen Yi who won an absolute thriller 4-3 against her there. So another Chinese player, a familiar foe here in Yingsha. What have you made of her form so far this week, Adam?
Haven't seen much of her. I think when I have seen her, it's just business as usual. She's fast, she's adaptable, she's creative, she's comfortable to change her game however she needs to make sure that she can get through an opponent.
And there's her record, of course, a serial champion at Smash level. Singapore 2023, China Smash 2024, Singapore again this year in the first of the 4 Grand Smash events, historically coming away for the first time in a calendar year. So Yingsha, as she does every time she enters any event, will have her eye on the grand prize, and that of course would be $100,000 of that 1.55 million total prize pot, as well as of course even more ITTF world ranking points to advance her lead at the top of those standings. Well, those are the numbers. Let's now get to the action, which will get underway very, very shortly. And also the reaction. Look in the background there. Shasha's fans are never far away. It's colorful, the fan art, the noise, and it's all part of the spectacle.
You know, if we look at that 16-0 record, there are a lot of bagels for Hina HAYATA against Yingsha. But there was one loss, 11-9 in the deciding 5th game, which was just 2 years ago. So we know that she's capable of putting up a fight. I wouldn't call it hopeless. That said, the fan vote here, 81% behind the world #1, Baby Buddha, Yingsha.
No surprise about that one. And let's get now to the action.
Sun versus HAYATA. First game, HAYATA to serve. Love all. One
Off the edge of the table, and an apology from Hina HAYATA, the left-hander there, off to a winning start in this one.
Very aggressive out of the gates, though. I like that she has a lot of forward motion there, even if she doesn't get the break. Intention is clear.
Oh, intention there as well. Little change of angle.
After a short exchange, way forward, guides, and then the turn, the forehand says, if I'm going to take this expensive shot, I better make it worth it.
First look at the Xiao serve now. The Xiao's made her way to this match up via a 3-1 win against Hana Goda. Always an entertaining match when they meet. And then she got past Yuan Jianan of France by the same scoreline, 3-1, to book this round of 16 berth. Oh, beautifully done. Just to wrap up how they got here, Hina's been in fantastic form. Impeccable, in fact, beating Kim Na-young in straight games and doing the same to Shin Yu-bin, which was quite the result, quite the performance.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch that one. So the two leading ladies for Team Korea, two of them, facing their fate in Hina HAYATA.
2-3.
2-3, she's behind. One last thing, last little anecdote ahead of this one. One of my colleagues was chatting with Hina HAYATA yesterday, and the record, the head-to-head came up. And you know what she said? I've got something up my sleeve. Because there's always another chance.
Short sleeves, but in a best of 5 might be enough.
Well, she did so well with those lengthy arms of hers to stay in that until it was a .25.
What you brought up, one of the most memorable matches in modern history was Hina HAYATA versus Wang Yidi, the 2023 world champs, and she didn't have a very encouraging record against Wang Yidi at that point.
Please play.
Yeah, just to finish that, and I guess records are meant to be broken, right?
So they say. A little bit of inspiration, sometimes it's just enough is enough. But then again, looking around to find solutions to a puzzle as tough as the world #1 currently and for the last 3 years, not an easy task.
Yeah, you're tempted to say if you've had to play 16 times and haven't won, you'd have to have pretty long sleeves to go finding something new. And she doesn't, as you can see there.
That said, only down by 2 here, the 13th seed.
Fantastic in the trade, and Xiao was just always comfortable, you felt.
It was such an unusual rally, and comfortable's an interesting choice of words for a lot of reasons. I think you mentioned on her road to getting here, 3-1, 3-1. That doesn't sound like the Xiao I know, not in the early rounds of any major event. She usually is just offering bagels left and right like a deli.
No, I think what I was saying is she held the table well against a player who was producing a variety of shots there, but we know she can do that. She was pushed, of course, in both of her matches so far, as the scores would evidence, yet she gains control, Xiao.
I know it's a few points ago now, but that one rally where Shasha was going backhand to forehand with Hina HAYATA was incredibly unusual for a lot of reasons. Here she's able to turn, and again, when she plays the forehand, she really makes it count.
3-9.
The idea is right. Receive is going to be one of the most important parts of game number 2, or the rest of game number 1 for that matter, although it feels like we're getting quite close to the finish line here at the second towel break with the score differential.
Yeah, it looks like Hina's going to have to work on a few things. She's going to play the long game, and she might have guessed that right from the start here. It's going to go the distance if she is to get that maiden win against Shasha.
Oh, what a block, what an angle. You were just talking about the long game, and I was thinking about how much her long game results will depend on her short game in this match. Look at the timing and the placement there. Little pose with the hands high.
Why not? Play a shot like that.
9-5.
It's back-to-back to close the gap to 4. Still improbable.
Short anecdote that you might appreciate, that hands high pose. Hina and I had a meeting, I think in Austria, where I was teaching her how to defend herself if she runs into a bear in the forest. And that was basically the pose.
Make yourself big?
Yep. Didn't think I'd see her practicing it out here against the world number 1.
Didn't have you down as an anti-bear attack trainer, but there you go.
Yes, it's better than the alternative when bears attack. Ma Lin looking on there with He Zhuojia. I chatted with briefly, is an incredibly close friend to Shasha, and said she's studying this match. There's always something to learn from the world number 1 with 5 game points.
And she utilizes just one of them to get the first 1-1, so we can come back and assess this one from the Yingsha perspective in just a moment as to where she is right now. But it's a familiar tale at the moment for Hina HAYATA. Beaten in the first as she seeks to do what she's never done before. And it's Shasha with the advantage. She wins the first by 11 points to 5. Checking on who's got the most wins in women's singles in WTT. Well, we know out in front, of course, is Miwa Haramoto, but Shasha's on 111 already, looking to add to that tally here in Malmo this week. Hina is within 2 of becoming a centurion, joining Wang Yidi and the 2 others I've mentioned already in the 100 club. Also, for a number of reasons, a win here and then another
second game
in the quarterfinal, and you'd start saying, yeah, okay, Hina HAYATA is in exalted company.
No flash, please. Live. No live. Love all.
Shasha is so bright, you don't really need a flash.
Love.
Actually, Joshua picked up a couple of times when we've seen her play, just on the lights in the arena. It's a stunning sight and sound spectacle that we have here. So professional is she in her attention to detail. Doesn't let anything get in her way. That's beautifully done again. We've seen flashes from Hina HAYATA. It typically comes off that backhand, doesn't it?
She's had a few very memorable ones. This one here, a much longer stroke with the backhand.
Every lens trained on this one, many of them on Shasha specifically. Look at that reaction there from Hina HAYATA, set scrambling.
Now this is very clever, and here's why. It's a common tactic to play backhand cross court and then step around. Shasha knows this pattern, so as soon as it's the backhand, it's the movement of Hina HAYATA that exposes her wide forehand.
Now that's something that Shasha will have done in the moment, rather than anything premeditated, is it? You said she knows the patterns.
Yeah, I would say in the sense she knows the patterns so well that she sees it before we do by a long shot. She knows what's most likely to come. This is also preparation and studying her opponent specifically.
3-2.
It does seem counterintuitive because you might think, well, she played it with her backhand. Why was there so much space? And the reason is because the body weight was moving the other way immediately after. But that's the importance of knowing patterns. This is why Timo Boll was always in position much earlier than others.
3-all.
Proactive on the receive there with the backhand. Back at Shasha.
A good step around there to get the backhand in over the table on the receive. A lot of wrist action. Hina HAYATA plays with more spin variation than most women, which says a lot. Again, when you think of the top of the food chain, Hina HAYATA was the leading lady for Japan for quite some time before recent months.
4-3.
Matches well there. Is she going to have to just keep surprising Shasha?
It's going to be a huge factor. Surprise is going to be one of the key ingredients here. Obviously, the quality and the details after that, but I think starting with surprise is a good place.
Three very good points, encouraging points, and she takes that encouragement on board.
Slower and spinnier this final shot. One arcing backhand, and again, very shallow, middle of the table. Little bit of side and topspin. Coach Oka knows well. Not a table tennis player himself, interestingly enough. He's physio previously. He's become the coach as well. You might wonder about that. It's not the first time we've seen a coach who is not a table tennis player that sits on the bench. And the reason is sometimes the players know the tactics well enough. It's just a question of comfort, encouragement, feeling empowered.
Chemistry, whatever works.
5-all.
Does translate into other sports as well. There are very elite level soccer coaches, for example, who didn't have any kind of a professional career. She's not getting that one.
5-6.
Reached the previous shot, but just offered it to Shasha on a plate, really.
Yeah, the one that comes back off the net here, not easy. This is one where you can go around the net and play it just above table height, which is ideal for any around the net shot to get a roller. Second bounce, it's immediately over, but easier said than done. Would have been a high-risk shot.
Oh, that's beautifully done.
All.
Abbreviated with the wind-up, but real power. Too much power, too hot to handle.
Yeah, on the parallel as well, there was a very quiet chole after this. Quick, you could see the whole twist, the whole body turning with that shot. The waist plays a very, very important role for getting extra power. A lot of, well, competitive players in the early stages play all arm. But the pros, it's the legs from the ground up.
Oh,
7-6.
This is really
smile on the face of Shasha there.
Yeah, it's next level. This was deep to the backhand corner. How is that not surprising at all? And Shasha plays it on the parallel as fast as can be, like she was waiting for days.
It's been a far more competitive game too, but it's beginning to take on a familiar tone. 2-point lead for the world number one.
Yeah, she's looking much more confident here. Shasha's moving quickly, making fast decisions, moving in and out well. It's a good response to the variation that Hina HAYATA has brought so far.
Seven, 8.
She's just got to live with her, hasn't she? Just got to hang in there.
It's a starting point.
We've seen Shasha dropping points. We've seen her exiting major events without winning them in recent times. You've got to seek whatever comfort of solace you can, some kind of encouragement.
I guess the last two major events.
Yeah.
9,
Of course,
7.
nearly went all the way in Japan, but it was in Las Vegas that you would turn around and say, yeah, there's a chance.
Taken down by, well, none other than a player who took down world number 1 and 2, Chen Yi.
Oh, so close.
You want to see the rally
7.
continue in these moments. Oh, why did she raise her hand?
What did that hit?
Well, Hina HAYATA raised her hand at the end. I don't know exactly why. Okay.
Well, it's game points all the same. Oh, that wasn't that far off.
8, 10.
Well, she saves one.
Nice awkward ball there, something to change the pace. And again, less spin sometimes might seem counterintuitive. Watch Hina HAYATA. Almost no spin. You could see the label on it. After the bounce, though, that's how much traction there is on the table. Go-go Shasha or go-sha go-sha? How do you read that?
I think the former.
Yeah, me too. It's my first time ever reading.
Let 8, 10.
That is a
11,
wonderful
8.
receive for a half-long
Game 2,
serve. Hina
7.
HAYATA served it in what felt like the perfect place, and Shasha stole the attack. So a look right there from someone who just secured a big second game after a more dominant first game. That shot sends her opponent to the ground, hitting it right into what would have been the rib cage if she didn't try to make a forehand out of it.
A rueful smile we've seen on the face of Hina HAYATA a couple of times. Is it happening again? Well, it looks that way. Shasha 2 to the good.
So, a little heat map here with some ball placement. The winning shots from Shasha right in that avocado on the table. That's where she goes. That is the shorter forehand of Hina HAYATA, and the 3 shots to the deep backhand means she only wants to jam her up and play the wide forehand earlier. A player who likes to step around, punished on the wide forehand.
That's a story to be continued, but coming up next, it's men's singles, round of 16 stuff. And really a fascinating encounter. An Jae-hun has a winning head-to-head record against his opponent here, none other than the winner from WTT champions, Yokohama, Tomokazu Harimoto. What a match! A Korea Japan classic in the making, and that's up next on this table. But in terms of this Japan versus China encounter, we might be heading to a fairly early conclusion. Sun Yingsha 2 games to the good. What does Hina HAYATA
Third
have
game.
in her locker?
HAYATA to serve. Love all. Love 1.
I suppose that question is hanging there. What does Hina have in her locker? Well, we know what she's got. It's just a question of what Sun Yingsha allows her to impose upon her.
It often feels that way. I think we have some ideas of what she's got. I do think she's got a lot that we're not quite familiar with.
1.
Yeah, that's a good point. How good of an account has Hina given of herself today? Have we seen the best of her, or even close to it?
It's always tough to know when you're measuring against somebody who stands so tall in the world of table tennis. but I do think she has more to give. It's just, yeah, what percentage is she at right now? Could be above average even.
2-1.
You're right, because the relentless quality of what she's confronted by, every single shot has to be premium.
Oh! 1-3.
But an unusual choke from the bench. Thinking back to just the first point of this game, the long push to the deep backhand corner by Xia got a big piaoliang out of Cho Yi-ke, Coco Chanel on the bench. And that's because they discuss this a lot, and sometimes winning those points, not with the big shots, but with the subtle shots, those are the most important ones to show that you're really focused.
1-4.
For those who don't have your language skills, very pretty, beautiful, right, was what was said?
Oh, piaoliang, yeah, beautiful.
Timeout.
This is something you'll learn from watching table tennis time and time again. And while Yingsha's got 30% the better on serves with quite an impressive serve success rate here, it's Hina HAYATA who needs a little conversation. I never really got to know the Mario reference. I'll have to talk to the massive Xia fan club.
Yeah, we see a lot of that, don't we? Those fans better grab their shots pretty soon, because it looks as if Xiao's table time is going to be fairly abbreviated here. She's getting this job done quickly. 4-1 up in the third, leading by 2 games to love.
One, 4.
She's going back to the Wang Yidi tactic, slowing everything down. 3 shots in a row. Obviously, the last one was quite uncomfortably placed. It's soft, shallow. Even there, she didn't go for a big attack. Just tried to keep it in play awkwardly. Of course, there will be times to go for a big attack. That is a long fingernail, almost as long as the lens.
That's
5,
nicely done.
2.
Very long on the topic.
You're no longer talking about the fingernail.
No, we're on the shot.
Yeah, beautiful. Right down the middle.
Thing of beauty. Piaoliang. But she's going to have to repeat. She's going to have to back them up, and she's going to have to accumulate points in bundles, Hina HAYATA, and it's just not happening for her.
Let 2, 6.
So
7.
clever. She sent her so wide there, just with the minimum movement, just as comfortable as you like. Look at that from Xia.
Still behind the table to play that angle so calmly and comfortably. It's impressive. If that were a flick, it would have been pretty wide.
Oh,
8.
Well, can't fault her for trying something, looking for a bottle challenge serve here, you could imagine.
yeah, it's desperation stuff right now, isn't it? Hail Mary stuff for Hina.
Nine, 2.
And it looks as if this one might be done fairly soon.
3,
Hold that
9.
thought. These have come along too infrequently, really, to aid the Hina HAYATA cause, as good as they've been.
We've seen some massive comebacks, shifts in different matches here. Shasha's just so quick to close any loopholes that the opponents find. It's quite rare. Again, mostly just teammates that end up getting the wins over her.
3, 10.
Nearly there, and of course looking to book a quarter-final encounter with either Mima Ito or Yi Eun-hye. Shasha one away. Oh, not this time.
4.
Fighting for her life, Hina.
Yeah, and this is probably the farthest we've seen Shasha behind the table here on the chase. Still 6 match points left. The more than 3 years now, world number 1.
Still, she has to wait a little bit longer for WTT win number 112. 5 game points.
Timeout.
And we're going to take a little bit more time. There's another minute coming our way before this one wraps up sometime in the near future, you would imagine, without crushing, overwhelming superiority.
这会儿还发了，信号会不断。对，他还得稍微加点风，缓开一点。啊，没问题，打的没问题，你这别松，还是1分钟12，没事。啊，这个一定不要到那个时候一下子松了，你看自己的失误。
其实我觉得他也发，我护住防我这边身体。
然后击发球这手下的击发球还是力度短，好吧？不要高抛啊，不要高抛。
没忍上一个。
不错，我来弄。啊，等到时间段上去啊，去缓一缓，专注盯住，不要松这个气。啊，这一松住的话，还是1分钟来，没问题。啊，可以，打的没问题啊。
Time.
One way or another, we've had every angle covered as Yingsha has produced another consummate performance here. The world number 1 on the brink of advancing to the quarterfinals at this historic inaugural Europe Smash Sweden 2025.
10-5.
Hasn't had to turn the world upside down to get here either. It's just been classic Shasha. And
Game
there
and
you are.
match soon. Soon wins the match. 3 games to
In
love.
almost subdued scenes, Shasha has continued her remarkable head-to-head dominance. 17-0 now, 9-0 in WTT encounters against Hina HAYATA. Not much more we can say about the quality of this one.
Yeah, very strong finish right back from the timeout. A little conversation about the serve, and it is one and done. It's like Hujwo Ja said, came here to study. That's what it's going to be for just about everyone in the world, including Hina HAYATA. This is going to be a learning experience. And for me, those highlights that we saw, some of those slow-mo replays, it's just such an incredible job of capturing these moments for us as table tennis fanatics to appreciate what she can see in real time under pressure. It might feel obvious to us watching it our second time in slow motion, but to her, it's a real-time solution against one of the best in the world, and a good handshake with eye contact, sign of respect for Hina HAYATA, her opponent. She's always respectful, and she moves on through to the quarterfinals, waiting for Eun-hye and Mima Ito, who's been in wonderful form recently.
Yeah.
Although Eun-hye with a